All right, so I thought I would take you guys along for my trip to the Dollar Tree. I'm only picking this store just because it's something that you can probably afford more than maybe some other places. Some places have cheaper things when it comes to just basic canned goods and stuff like that, but I'm just giving you an idea of growing your pantry in 2024. So I'm going to share all of that with you guys in today's video. A lot of you guys know that we do some food prepping and we store a lot of food in our garage, but I wanted to give you an idea of how you can do it on a budget. So I'm gonna grab some stuff here and then we are gonna head home and I will share everything that I got, and this is just something that you can look to and just get some ideas from. Everyone, thank you for coming back to my channel. I'm Stephanie if you're new here. So I want to share with you guys some stuff that you can get to build your pantry in 2024. Just things that you can start out with, just a basic pantry. This isn't a big pantry. You're just going to start out with odds and end kind of things. So I always get questions on how we started out with getting our pantry the way we have it. And this is one way of how you can do it. So you're not going to go buy all this stuff and put it in your pantry because you're not going to be able to do that. So you're going to start out small. And I mentioned that in a lot of my videos that you're going to want to only grab a couple items at a time. If you don't have the income to do that, then you just add 1 can extra every single time that you go to the store. So if you can get macaroni for under $1, you're going to buy maybe 5 of them on your next grocery order. And that's kind of what we do. So if we know that we can buy 30 extra cans on our grocery haul, that's what we do. If we know that we can only grab like 1 or 2 cans, that's also what we do whenever. So like once a month, that's how we do it. So we don't do it like throughout the month. It's mainly once a month. When I do my large family grocery in the beginning of the month, I will do all of that in the beginning of the month. I go out in our pantry, look at everything that I am low in, and I will buy all of that back to put in our pantry. Now, we didn't do that when we first started. We basically just would, or Lauren would go and buy like 10 cans of something, and that was the only thing that he could get maybe that month or in like a week or whatever. So let's say 1 week, if you have a budget of groceries for 1 week and you can go pick out 2 extra things for your grocery on that week, then you're going to do that. And it doesn't have to be canned goods. It could be rice or flour or sugar. You can pick the item that you want to pick. Or if you can do what I have in front of me that I'm going to share with you guys in a minute, if you can do double this every single month, then you have that in your pantry. So when you first grow your pantry, you're not going to want to use any of that stuff that you put in that pantry. This is going to be extra stuff. So to start your pantry, you're going to just start it and not use it. And that's kind of what we did. And I kind of say that in when I share it, is when Lauren started storing food, I was confused by it because I wanted to use it because we needed to use it. But if we used it and we didn't have the money to put back into it, then we would never have what we have now, like storing our food. So if you can buy bulk in things and do that, that's great. If you have a budget of $100 a month extra that you can put into building your pantry, do that. And you can do water, you can do food grade buckets. It doesn't even have to be food. It can be your supplies that you need for all of that. So I will share maybe some of that in another video where you don't have to use all your money just for food items, but you can use a budget on things that you can use. So we use other things. I kind of go over one thing that we use for storing our food, or 2 things. I go over 2 things and I'll list them down below and you guys can get them if you want to help with storing. So we store all of our food out in the garage, and we can't just put certain things out in the garage without packaging it different. So when we get like noodles and stuff, we can't put that out in the garage. So we can't, if I were to get stuff like this, I can't put that out in the garage without packaging it different. So if you have an inside pantry, you could probably do it a little bit better that way and you wouldn't have to worry about it. But if you have a basement or you have an area where you can store food, but you know that there's going to be issues with like bugs and different things, then you're going to want to do it different. And that's what we do. So I'm just going to go over a basic pantry. So I'm giving you ideas. This isn't like a full list of what you could get. I do have a printable that you can get. I think it's with email sign up. I will leave that down below. And you guys can get on my email list. I will email things out throughout the month or whatever, share different things. But the list is just like a blank pantry list. I don't have a pantry list yet on like the basic needs that you should have in your pantry. I will do one of them in another time. I will come up with some kind of printable. So I just have like a little picture on there with some lines across. Maybe I can put a picture down below and you could see what it looks like. And then you could just print that off and keep track of what you have in your pantry. I haven't got to that point either. I want to get a notebook and start writing down everything because that's a good thing to have in your pantry. That way you can kind of keep track of what you have in there. But for me, every time that I go grocery shopping, I go out in our pantry or I take a picture of our pantry. I sit on my phone. I do a lot of pickup orders from Walmart and all these now. And then I see what I'm missing and I look at my picture on what I have in my pantry. And then I order the food that we are missing in the pantry. I have other stuff that I don't always share that's in our pantry that we store out there. Like we have different amounts of mason jars full of noodles and rice and beans and food grade buckets full of all that kind of stuff. And that stuff is already packed up, so I don't get to share that with you, but we have all that on hand. All right, so let me turn you guys around. I'll show you everything that I got, and then I'll come back on and we'll talk for a little bit. And hopefully you guys will enjoy everything that I got, and hopefully this will be helpful on starting your, pantry. All right, so let me share everything that I got from the dollar store. Now, you can get this from anywhere. If you can find good prices at different places and can get it for cheaper. So my Family Dollar is $1.25. But if you can get some of this stuff, bigger containers for a cheaper amount, that would be good. This is just an example. So this is just what I want to share with you on if I were to start out my pantry, what maybe I would add to the pantry. Now, there's two things that I couldn't get to share with you guys today, and that was baking soda and flour. I'm going to get the coconut flour that they had there, but I didn't think that I would use it, so I didn't even get it. So I picked out things that I would put in my pantry right now so that it wouldn't get wasted, but I'm only giving you an example of what I would get. So these are things that we started out with when we grew our pantry. Like I said in some of my other videos, my husband would grab maybe like 10 cans of something, and that was the only thing that he got maybe that month. Or he would grab 4 things on the next grocery pickup or whatever he did. So if we picked up something like this and we added 2 cans to our grocery haul, let's say we spend $200 on our groceries, but we picked up another can of diced tomatoes. We would add that to our pantry. So when you're just starting out, it might just look like this. This might be your only thing that you get on your groceries for just that time, just to build your pantry, just to get it started. So you're gonna have this stuff. You're not gonna use any of it. And when we first started, I was really confused with that because I needed to use this stuff. And I didn't understand that if I kept using everything, we wouldn't have a pantry. We wouldn't be able to save on it. So if you're just going to do a pantry and just get it started, it's okay for you to use it as long as the next time you go to the store, you grab another one of them cans. So what we tried to do is we would get this stuff. Now, we wouldn't probably pick all this up like this to start our pantry, but this is what you can do just to get it started, right? So I went to the Dollar Tree, and I will add all what I got. I ended up getting some other stuff that I saw there, so I'm not going to add that into the total. And I did see someone else that did like start a pantry with $15, and you can do that if you can find them sales. I can't go places. Like I can't go a lot of places just because I don't have a babysitter and different things to be able to do all that like shopping around. I did have a comment on one of my videos on prices at different places, which is great. And if I could do something like that, that would be awesome. If I could go to different stores and share that with you guys, that would be pretty cool. But so for right now, this is just everything for $1.25. And I don't think that that's pretty bad for just starting a pantry. So let me just show you what I got. I did go earlier to get this stuff, and then I'm just going to just share everything, and then I'll give you a little ideas of maybe what you could use it for. But you're just starting out, right? So you're not going to like probably make a lot of meals out of this. It's just your start out with a pantry. And then I want to be able to do more videos on this to be able to show you other ideas like adding protein and stuff to your pantry. Okay, so I'm going to start out over here. Now, I just learned this. I mean, I knew there was stuff on this. When you get rice or beans, you're supposed to put them in the freezer for at least 48 hours because bugs and stuff live inside like the packaging and stuff, and you're going to want to kill that off. Someone said that if that gets into your whole pantry, it can be like bad. So put these in the freezer for a little bit, and then we use food grade buckets, and we also dry can our dry goods. I also have a sealer that I used to do that, and I will share that with you. But I did have this one sealer that you put over mason jars, and it's just a little compact thing, and it works really good for sealing that up if you don't have food grade buckets yet. So like brown rice is good. You can do white rice. So you can make meals out of this if you can get multiple meals out of this, and then your pinto beans. So I'm just talking protein a little bit. I will do a separate video on all the protein that you can add to your pantries. I did get this, which this is kind of like a snack protein, but just giving you an idea of what you can mix together to get some of that in your pantry. So we also do dehydrated fruit and stuff, so you can make your own mix if you want to. I did get some sunflower seeds. With this, I wouldn't put this out in our pantry, out in the garage, just because it has the plastic packaging. So we would put this in food grade buckets or mason jars. That's what I was trying to say. Even our ramen noodles, we will store in food grade buckets out in our garage. All right, so that's for this. So you can make a couple meals or things out of this. It's just one idea of adding stuff to your like a dinner or whatever. And then tuna, you can do tuna. We also do other kind of canned meat, but I'm not going to share that with you right now. I will share that in another video. Like I said, with all the protein, if you go back to my last pantry video, I share a lot of what is in my pantry. I will list that down below, and you guys can go back and watch that one. But here is another source of protein you can get from any place. I know a lot of people maybe like on WIC or I'm trying to think of other like food banks and different things. If you get into any of that, a lot of times they share stuff like this. These are the things, even if you don't want it and they're offering it to you, these are the things that you want to keep because it has a longer shelf life. And you're going to want to get that. So if you get stuff like this, this is something that you want to get on your shelf. Now, I'm just talking about pantry items. If you want to start your pantry, we do other things with our pantry like food prepping and stuff so that we have food for a longer term. So that's in another video, or you can go back and watch my video and I go over some of that in my other video. But for right now, I'm just showing how to start your pantry. So I just got this to give you an example. We usually always get the bigger pack at Walmart. So we usually get the regular ramens. This is like a quick meal. This is just something that you can have in your pantry if you need some kind of, food. Let's say you want to be able to have stuff in your pantry you can make food with, just with basic food items. All right, so I did get some instant coffee because this is just something like you can have on hand if you guys run out of coffee or you just want to have something like this in your pantry. For us, we do long-term food storage. So we always are looking for things that we can keep on our shelf long-term. So if you don't want to do that and don't want to have coffee in your pantry, you don't have to do that. But for us, we put a lot of our coffee in food grade buckets, or we put it on the shelf. This is in a glass jar, so this can stay a little bit longer. But if it's stuff like this, the plastic containers, we probably wouldn't keep it for years. And then even like stuff like this is like this might be a metal underneath the label. I'm not quite sure. But sometimes if it's like a cardboard or anything like that, we can't store that in our garage like that. So we have to package it different. So you have to be kind of creative when you're going to store food in areas that might get yucky. Do multiple things with this. You can add peas to this. You can not, if you don't want to use the little packets in here, you can add sauces, mix your sauces. Other things to add to the noodles if you don't want to use the packet, and make stuff that way. We have canned meat. You can add canned meat to this. You can add tuna to this. Whatever. You're going to try to figure out how to make different meals out of your pantry items with just being on like a basic budget. All right, so I kind of forgot that I got this. I have refried beans, refried pinto beans. So this is another source of protein you can add to something. And that's another thing to be on your shelf. So we have a lot of refried beans on our shelf. These are just things that you can store just in case. You can have a couple cans of this, and you could be using this for wraps and tacos and different things. But this is just another easy thing to have on your shelf for protein. All right, I know a lot of people will store noodles. We store noodles in jars and packages out in our garage, like food grade buckets. Also, we always have enough of this on hand. We also store a lot of it in our house too. We have a cabinet that we store all different kinds of noodles. And like I said, if you can find some for cheaper, like under 90 some cents, or if you get some at food banks or food pantries, keep all of that, and then there's ways of you to repackage it. I know a lot of people just keep it in this, and then it won't last as long as if you were to put these in mason jars. So another thing, and then like I said, we use a sealer to seal it up so that it stays fresher longer. All right. So for mixes like this, we also store this out in our garage. We have them in mason jars. We also will keep them in the container like this, and we'll put them in food grade buckets, and then we don't have to take them out of the packaging. If you do take them out of the packaging, make sure you have something stored somewhere where you have the ingredients listed in that, around that jar, or maybe in a book, and then you could just write this on the mason jar stating, like, you know, I package it on this day, and then that would be in your notebook or whatever, that the ingredient or how to make it or whatever. So that's another thing. You can make a meal out of this with rice and like your refried beans or whatever, something like that. Or you have your diced tomatoes, and you can make something out of this with your noodles and then the cornbread mix. So come up with different ideas with that. So I got 2 cans of diced tomatoes on our pantry. On the garage, we have a bunch of cans of this just because we keep it on hand. So you can make your own sauces and stuff with this. You can make spaghetti sauce or whatever. So I have that. I also have marinara sauce. So you can do that also and just get it this way. We also, well, I'll share that at the end, what also you can do. So I'll get back to that in a minute. All right, so I have 2 cans of that. I have 2 cans of corn. Just, I'm giving you ideas of what you can keep on hand. You can get green beans. We do canned potatoes. We don't do a lot of canned soups because we don't use them. We just do a homemade soup if we are. A lot of times if I do freezer meals, I'll do the canned. But everything else is mainly for what we can get through for the month or months, and just have all that on hand. If you guys watched my last video, you guys know how many cans of food we have on that shelf, and we store all of this out there anyways. All right, I did get some jelly. Jelly isn't normally a pantry-like thing, but this is good to have on hand too. A lot of people can jelly, and we have some of that on our shelf also from, I think it was like, not last year. Yeah, I think it was last year that I did some jelly and stuff. So that's another good thing you can have in your pantry, but this isn't something that you have to have in your pantry because this is just kind of like an extra thing. For baking and different things, we have the evaporated milk, sweetened condensed creamer, so we have that. You want to get things that you can bake with and cook with. So we have the baking powder. They did not have baking soda. We have a lot of baking soda in our pantry right now. We usually would get bigger things of this. I just wanted to give you an idea on what you can have. Coconut oil you can cook with. You can do multiple different things. If you have, we do this with other things too, like even natural remedies and different things. I used to make baby wipes when my kids were little, and I used to use this with that too. You can use this for, you know, dry skin, whatever. This is a good thing to have on hand. Apple cider vinegar. So we have apple cider vinegar. This is with the mother. That's the one that you're going to want to have if you're going to have it. You can use this for anything really. We use this sometimes for our chickens in their water. You also can use it for mixing it in your water, whatever. You can use it for multiple things. You can use it for cooking. It's just one of them things that you should have in your pantry. And then I got some lemon juice that also is good to have on hand for like cooking. And I know the kids just drink that with water. I got just a big thing of water, just an example. But another good thing to have in your pantry is to have water. Because if you can't get clean water, you're going to want to have bottled water. So I just got this for an example. And then as for seasonings, if you can stock up on seasonings, I store mine in mason jars. I also have all my seasonings in the house in jars. But out in the garage, I took all of them and took them out of all the packaging, out of the plastic packaging, and put them all in mason jars. And then I sealed them. And that's how we store our seasonings out in the garage. And I'm just giving you another example, is salt and pepper is another good thing for a basic seasoning to have in your pantry. All right, another good thing is honey, but if you can get raw honey, that's better to have in your pantry versus just like store stuff. But if you can get some good organic honey, that would be good too. This can be used for many different things other than cooking. So natural remedies, all different things. Very good to have in your pantry. So chicken broth was another thing. Now, we have a bunch of these in our garage. I typically wouldn't maybe keep this on our shelf in the garage, just in this container. But I know that people maybe would make their own chicken broth and then can it. So that's another option. I'm just giving you a cheap option on how to do it. So I had a viewer tell me that they have milk and stuff on the shelves at Dollar Tree. So I went back and I looked. I got this. This is a cool thing to have on your shelf. I was just reading it over on how to store it. I don't know, like I said, if I would keep this in our pantry out in a garage for a very long time, just because of the packaging. But if you have a pantry in your house, then this would be better to store in the house. But we have it out in the garage. That's where our pantry is. And I just don't know if this would be good long-term in the pantry that we have. But it's an option. This is what it has on the back. It kind of goes over the safety with keeping that they do certain things so that they can have it for longer shelf life. So that's pretty cool. So I might end up eventually going back and grabbing a couple of these, and then I will think of what I'm going to do. I know a lot of people will can milk anyways. They'll can raw milk or whatever. But I haven't got to that point yet. So if I can have a couple of these, that would be great. So for $1.01 quart. So, I mean, we go through a lot of milk here. We do not have a cow that, you know, gives us milk or anything like that. So we still buy milk. We do have a steer, but that's for meat. So we're not that far as in having our own milk yet. But this is a cool thing to have on your pantry. I don't know. So if you need like a milk item, or you can get powdered milk too, and we have that out in our pantry. We have that in food grade buckets just in case we need stuff like that. So we do that. So we do have milk out there. We just have it in the dry powdered form. I got some wraps. So this is something that you can have in your pantry. We do all of the bread stuff in our house, so that will not go out in our outside pantry. This is just something that we always have on hand. Ketchup is another thing. We store all our condiments and different things out in our food pantry out in the garage. I'm just giving you another example of what you can have on hand. And then as for sugar, I got this. We store sugar and flour in food grade buckets. So that is what we do. And then Evelyn picked these out, and I guess I could show you. This is something that you can have too. We always have the bigger cans, though, of fruit out in our pantry, but she wanted to try these, so I thought I would share that with you on some things that you can have fruit in your pantry also, and not just fresh fruit. So you can always have something like this. I know a lot of people talk about like the added sugars and different things and stuff, but if you're looking for long-term food, then it's better to just have like your canned fruit. If you're doing it that way, if you want natural, more fresh fruit, that's going to be different. So you're not going to want to have that stored long in your pantry unless you're going to make jellies or can it all. So this is just starting out your pantry simple. So this isn't really food related, but I'm just giving you another idea of what you can store in your pantry. You can have freezer bags. I just started a couple months ago doing freezer meals, but it's good to have stuff like this on hand for food items. So it's good to have stuff like this on hand. We store toilet paper, paper towel, and what else do we store? Our garbage bags and stuff like that we buy when we need them, but otherwise we try to buy bulk and then store, and then if we need to get again, that's what we do. So you can have in your pantry is napkins. That's another good thing to store in case you need to have that on hand. So I'm just giving you many different ideas on building your pantry. So when it comes to stuff like this, next time you go to the store, if you can only afford $1 something for napkins, that's what you get. If the next time that you go to the dollar store and you can only buy 2 things of these, that's what you get. So for us, we're at the point now that we can buy 5, 10 cans to add to our pantry each time that we go grocery shopping. Sometimes I buy multiple cans of multiple things. That's just where we're at, but it took us a long time for us to get to that point. So this is just a little like sneak peek of what you can pick to get started with your pantry. So that was everything that I wanted to share with you guys. So hopefully that was helpful. This is just a little example of what I would do. Let's say I'm going to start out my pantry. These are things that I would start out with. You know, if it was just me, but there's 10 of us here, so we need more than just what I shared today. But if it was just a starter pantry, let's just say we decided, hey, let's start a pantry in 2024. This would be a basic start with what we would get. And then, like I said, we wouldn't eat it. We would build off of it and keep growing. So that's what we do. So when it comes to sugar, I wouldn't buy something like this. Typically, like where we are now, we would buy bigger bags, multiple bags, and put them in food grade buckets. 5-gallon food grade buckets. Some have turn covers and some have like the long-term safety covers that go on them that stay on for long periods of time. That's if you want to store things for years. But I go out there and then I grab my sugar and flour as I need it. So I'm just giving you like a little example. This is just like a starter if you want to start, but we buy multiple bags. I've had that in other grocery hauls before. If you guys want, I have a whole playlist of years past of just all the things that I stockpile for our pantry. I kind of like when I share my videos, I say like, this is my pantry items. I'll kind of do that too in my grocery hauls. And I'll buy like maybe like 4 bags of sugar and then I dump them all in my food grade bucket. I used to use mason jars for my sugar, but I had a comment from one of my followers that was like, hey, you should do the food grade buckets for bigger bulk food items that you use all the time. So that's what we switched over to. I do have my seasonings in mason jars. Like I said, we do store other things out there in mason jars just because we don't want bugs in, different things. So we don't have any problems with bugs or mice getting in any of our food because of how we package it. But I will do another video on all of that. I know a lot of you guys like my pantry restock videos and organizing with my pantry, what's new and different things. So I thought if I just share what you can do to just get started, give you an idea, this is what I would do to do that. Okay, so I'm going to leave a bunch of things down in the comments and in my description. So I'm going to leave food grade buckets. I'm going to leave my mason jar sealer down there. I'm going to leave my email sign up for free printables. I have different things down there, air fryer book, free email sign up, and my playlist for grocery hauls and my pantries. So I'm going to put that all below. And if you go into the comment section, sometimes people don't always know where the description is. So it's a little bit easier for you guys in the comments. I will leave all that down below. And if you guys are interested in getting any of that, I do have some other printables in there that's more kid related, but I do have that pantry list. Eventually I will list one that's like, things that you should have in your pantry. Like I'll do a thing on that, or maybe I can send that out in an email. So if you guys sign up for my email, I maybe would come up with like a printable that you guys can get with my email. Sign up in another email whenever I can do that. So that is everything that I wanted to share with you guys today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to subscribe because I'm going to put out more videos like this. Great. So I'll see you in the next video.